I'm gonna fucking freak. Gonna fucking pre.
So I cut all my hair off on the sides, by the way, today.
You also shaved.
Yeah, I trimmed
Oh,
my beard
you
off. I was getting annoyed. I didn't shave. I trimmed it off.
It's still there.
I'm just tired of wearing like it's such a hassle with my mask all the time at work and shit. It's so annoying to keep it not looking terrible.
So you bought that comb for nothing.
It was a
Those-
waste.
Oh no, I groomed my baby. It grew, it lived its life, and now it got its first haircut, and it'll grow back.
So tomorrow, I'm expected to get between 12 and 18 inches of snow.
Oh yeah, I heard
Sounds like a good day.
that. I was worried because I'm traveling to Virginia on Saturday, by the way.
Hey, by the way, Cheyenne, we're having a lockdown, so just so you know.
What kind of lockdown?
You can't travel between midnight and 5 a.m.
Yeah, and then there's
Oh, same
supposedly there's also supposedly like a no leaving the state clause that's
Midnight.
now extended until January 31st, according
Ours
to
is-
Sarah. So if it gets really bad, they may lift it, but if it gets really bad, we might not visit as soon as we wanted to.
Ours here is from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m.
That's mine. 10
midnight.
p.m.
God damn.
Yeah, we're better. We're
But
so
I can
much
still
better.
fly into Norfolk.
Well, of course, they're not.
But you
gonna
just can't go
stop you.
home. After that, gotta
You
live
could,
here with
you
us.
could just get
Be a
could get in-
Virginian.
yeah. You could get in trouble if you get like pulled over and they're like, "Where are you going?" And you're like, "Not to work," and then they'll fucking kill you.
Okay. I'll just stay at my mom's house and not go anywhere. Got it.
That's
I
what
mean,
you were
like-
gonna do anyway.
I'm going to the
Yeah.
hospital. I have a Bic pin stuck in my urethra.
Do you really want to check, officer?
Exactly.
I do have official paperwork from work. Does that count?
So do I. So do I. And so does Allie. Because she works until midnight tonight.
Oh yeah, so do I. I have it, but it's only to be like, "Hey, I'm at work," or "I'm going to work."
Hey,
But
fuck
it's
you.
not for
I
anything
work.
else.
Fuck are you?
Hey, fuck you. I'm essential.
Sure.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Also,
Yeah, I'd like
so,
to have 2 weeks off.
Yeah. So Sarah gets her vaccine on Thursday
Good.
because
I
she's a
hope you
healthcare
have
worker.
a lot of ammo.
A lot of ammo.
For the zombies.
Oh, okay.
I do have some ammo.
Well, she had she had close contact with somebody that was positive on Friday because
I
at
have
the
close
Matthews
con-
facility, she said there was like 38 positives.
I have close
at that
contact with someone on a daily basis.
Okay. Do they get confirmed to
Yes.
have COVID? Oh, okay.
I'm immune to that shit, apparently.
Oh my God! Stop. All right.
You can test this by asking them to cough in your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm
Why don't
patient.
you just get them to hock a nice loogie right in the
I'm-
back of your throat?
I'm fucking patient zero of the immunity gene.
Do you want to say that again without flubbing it?
I'm patient zero of the immunity gene.
The immunity.
Okay. All right.
My internet fucked that up.
I
so it was
get-
extra
I
funny
get like
on my end.
8 messages a day from Target saying, out of abundance of caution, we'd like to inform you that another positive case or cases have been confirmed within the last 3 days. Like, okay, it's been weekly and daily for the last month. How the fuck have I not come in contact?
I don't even get those messages anymore. I don't know if it's because we haven't had any positives at our store or not, but
My job
we
doesn't
just
give a
haven't got-
shit anymore. They're just like,
Also,
You work at a restaurant. Why the fuck would they even do that?
I just want to put this out there. I am not supporting the University of Arizona football this year. It's just the tallest, one of the tallest koozies I have.
Okay, for audio listeners, he has a embarrassingly large koozie on his giant
It's a
25
tall boy
ounce
koozie
Food
Yeah.
heavy.
with the University of Arizona logo on it
who just got their asses kicked 70-7.
by Arizona State.
I just got an email from Nintendo and they're saying Among Us is coming
It's
to
on
Switch.
Switch. Yeah, I saw that earlier today.
Oh, fuck yes.
Who cares? You have it on your phone.
I don't care. I'd rather
But you
play it
can
on my
have it on your
Switch
He's
than my
Switch
literally,
now,
PC.
he's
motherfucker.
out here
You can
freaking
take it
out, and he's
anywhere.
like, I don't care.
No, I don't care that it's on my phone. We can play it on like Allie can play on the Switch and I can play on a PC, and if it's all cross-platform, it's the best.
It
Yeah,
is.
it'd
It
be
will be.
way more fun to play on the Switch versus playing on your
It
phone.
so would. It'd be way better.
Maybe on your phone. All right. I'm still gonna stick to my PC. So
And I hope
I play on my
they
laptop.
link the accounts that your mobile,
it will.
my PC, like all that shit needs to get linked.
Yeah.
It
Do you
will, but does it
follow-
really matter? It's not like there's like unlockables.
I was gonna say there's not stats or well, there are stats. They
There might
Among
be
Us.
eventually.
Among Us has been posting like behind the scenes Among Us stats, like how many times the imposter wins and how they win. I follow them on Twitter. They're fun on
They have
Twitter.
a funny Twitter. They're
Yeah,
funny.
they're pretty funny on Twitter.
Alrighty. Well, do you want to talk about our real quick stick fight game, Cheyenne, before we get started, so you can
Yeah.
embarrass
Did you
me
guys
further?
play Stick Fight?
Yeah, we
just
did while we
the
were waiting
first
for your ass
time.
to get out of the shower.
Yeah. We
I
were
love
waiting.
that game.
We were waiting for you, and Matt gifted it to me for Christmas. So thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
To play, and so we were like, well, while we're waiting for everybody to start, we can just play a couple rounds of Stick Fight. And so we start playing. I was kicking his ass.
I love that game. I love
I
watching the
honestly don't know
Grumps
how to
play it.
I don't know how to play it, obviously, because
I
I
laugh my
would only beat Cheyenne. I'd only beat Cheyenne if I shot her in the head or if she fell off something or got
or if
crushed.
I fell off because
That
I
was-
was trying to get
She
to
was
him.
absolutely beating me.
But
to
if I
death
got
over
to
and
him,
over
I'd
again.
kick the crap out of him.
I laughed my ass off watching the Grumps play Stick Fight.
Yeah, that game's
Oh.
that game's. It's like $5 on Steam. It's like literally $5.
You think my laptop can run it?
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Probably.
Because if that's the case, then I'll get it and I'll
A
play
phone
with you
could
guys
run
too.
it. A phone could run it.
I'll play
Yeah.
with you guys.
Yeah.
A
It was-
Tamagotchi might be able to run it.
If
Actually, maybe not.
if you can run Among Us, you should be able to run Stick Fight.
Okay, because that game, I wanted to play that game so bad.
Oh my gosh, it's so
It's pretty.
fun.
It's pretty damn fun.
It's
It
really
did look
really
kinda
fun
fun.
when you're winning.
I'm sure. My only solace was that I was saying, well, maybe 4 people would be a little more hectic, so someone could kill her before I had to.
We could just gang up
And
on her
I
every
feel like
time.
it'd be more fun because it would be constant bullshit, and like I wouldn't just be getting shat on by one person over and over again.
No, it's
Just sitting
because
here
you
like, "God damn
you
it."
know we've played Mario Kart with Cheyenne. She always wins the bullshit.
Oh well.
I am the
She
I don't know about
always
that.
she's
That's
she's the
true.
queen of bullshit, man.
the queen
All
of
she
chaos.
wants to do is drag people down.
I want to ruin your night.
I know. But all right. What's up, everybody? We're back again.
Back at it again.
Yep. I'm trying a different form of recording it this time. Hopefully it comes through, and I hope it's not ruined. Probably should. I probably should have started my Streamlabs recording, but I didn't. So we're just gonna go with it here. It's
You're not
recording
gonna
on Zoom.
sound check. You're not gonna sound check yourself.
On Zoom, I can adjust it on Zoom. It's fine.
All right.
But yeah, so welcome back to the Nerdy as Hell podcast. Of course, I'm Matt. Got Cheyenne on my top left, Chris on my bottom left, Jake on my bottom right. If you're watching the video version, which will be up on the website, Jesus Christ, on the YouTube channel, Nerdy as Hell Gaming on YouTube. So we're going to continue our Star Wars talk from last week. We don't have any other topics other than that, so we're just pretty much going to get right into it. But so yeah, we're gonna talk about the original Star Wars trilogy this time.
Hell yes.
And like I said, it's going to be a little different than last time when we talked about the prequels. Because I feel like all we did was doo-doo on them. We didn't really get into the movies themselves, just because the amount of time that we want to make these, we could have talked about them for probably 3 hours, but we want to keep it no longer than an hour and a half, for you guys, for listening purposes, because ain't nobody got time for that 3 hour long podcast. So yeah, so I guess just sit back and enjoy and let the nerdiness let it seep in, just absorb it this time. Just sit back and relax, and let's
Soak
go ahead
it
and
up.
get into it. So how was everybody's day, real quick? I do want to start with that so we can
My day was pretty good. Work was easy. I actually got let go a little bit early today, so I didn't have to stay a full 10 hours. Which
That's
is pretty
cool.
nice.
that is
My
pretty
work
nice.
Work was not bad. It's retail food week, which is my favorite week out of the month. So we're processing all the meat we bought last Friday. So that's a lot of fun.
Doesn't that affect your results? Like it was bought almost a week ago.
No, she's
Did
culturing
you
the
freeze
meat.
it?
No,
She's seeing what
so
grows on the meat to make sure
we
that
have
it's
96
it's fruit.
hours to start processing it, and we start the process on Monday, which is 72 hours.
Oh, okay, okay.
And it gets refrigerated until we're ready to start processing it.
Okay,
so,
never mind. Don't listen
Okay.
to me.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because I was
And
like,
then so
you
so
bought
like
it Friday. It's gotta be getting gross by now.
yeah, so we bought it on Friday. We processed it, so we cut it out of the packaging on Monday.
Okay.
And then that gets put into a broth, and then today we put that broth on into plates or onto.
So wait, you're not just going to Taco Bell and being like, "Hey, give me a Crunchwrap Supreme,"
No,
and then taking the meat and culturing that.
no. We're going to
Oh, that's
Walmart like, hey, yo, give me your ground beef.
She's going to grocery stores and stuff.
Yeah, it's just grocery stores.
oh, I thought you.
Yeah,
I
because
thought you were
that
like.
meat at Taco Bell is cooked.
I thought you were like, "Hey, yo, give me a Whopper right now, and I'm gonna culture it."
Not
She
yet.
walks
They
into
have,
Sushi King and is like,
they have talked
"Give me
about
some
us doing
rolls."
that, but not the cooked stuff, not the stuff that they would sell to you, but actually going to the McDonald's or whatever and getting their frozen stuff that they have in the back and
That they
testing.
would eventually sell to me.
Well, yeah, but not before they cooked it. So they've talked
No,
about that. We haven't
that's-
we haven't started doing that yet.
That's what I thought you did. Was like go to fucking wherever and be like, go to Chipotle. And give me 2 pounds of your carne asada and let me fucking
They'd
culture
leave
the
it
shit out of
Chipotle
it.
if they did that.
No, that'd be fun, but no, we just go to grocery stores right now.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, this is my favorite week of the month, so it's an easy work week for me because I enjoy
That's
it.
good. That's good.
All right, Chris, how'd your test go?
Yeah.
I got an 84 on it, but that's minus the 10 points that are available for, because he has to grade my short answer and questions. So that hasn't been factored in yet. So I could get a 94. So
Still,
Ooh,
an 84 is still a B. I mean, that's
that's
still
still
good.
B.
that's assuming that I got the short answer questions wrong. And one of them was a fucking freebie that was like, what was your favorite part about microbio this semester? So that's 5 points right there.
Everything.
You
Okay,
didn't
there you
take
go.
that
There's a B
opportunity
plus.
to like throw him to the wolves.
He's actually a good professor. He was funny and he actually made he made the content engaging. He was really sarcastic and he'd be like, shit, when he fucked up. And that's funny.
good. That's huge because a good teacher /
a
professor
human being
makes a difference.
professor. I mean, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
It
That's-
does. It really does.
That's why I liked my accounting classes. The teacher made everything fun and like realistic.
Yeah, that was one of my major deciding factors in getting into microbiology was because of my microbiology professors, because they were so awesome.
Found out that, all right, so after I did my Kaplan exam, I was allowed to submit a final like application to the nursing program, like a formal one. And when I did that, they told me that the latest that they'll tell me whether or not I'm accepted is first of all, is on April 8th. April 8th.
Jesus.
Wow.
So I'm like I'm probably going to take some more classes. I was thinking I was going to take some more microbio related shit.
Yeah, diagnostic microbiology should be your next one.
Just because I want to, because I'm thinking that might be my plan B. So I may as well start taking classes next semester because I won't even start if I get accepted in the nursing program, I won't even start that shit until fucking August. So I can already be a good part of the way down getting a microbiology degree. And maybe I can combine the two somehow.
That'd be awesome.
Get into like a pharmaceutical, like cutting edge of medicine, like experimental shit. I don't know what the fuck I would do. Yeah, something like that.
Well, I mean,
Well, hopefully,
fingers crossed for you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hopefully you. That's ridiculous. You have to wait that long. God damn.
It's fucking bullshit, man. I took the test on December fucking 11th. No, 10th. So why do I have to wait until goddamn April? There can't be that much deliberation about this.
Well, potentially it's the latest you could hear from, right?
And the earliest I could hear is February. So I'm just on the hook the whole time.
Well, okay, but if you take into fact how many people across the country are taking that test?
That's true.
But it's registered through my school, so it's got to be only like at most.
Yeah, he'd probably find out from his
Couple
school.
hundred.
His school will only sift through his
That's
school's
fine.
tests.
He would find out from his school what his grade was, but then that all those top scores supposedly get submitted to that nursing program.
Hmm.
You know, it's a lot of steps. I'm not trying to sit here and say, suck it up, wait. I 100% agree with you. It sucks that you have to wait that long, but it makes sense as to why it takes so long. At least in my opinion, I can
Okay.
see why it would take so long.
It
Alright.
doesn't make it any easier, but anyway.
Exactly. No, absolutely
no,
not. No,
That's
not at all.
bullshit. You just have to sit around for up to 4 months, like,
Just sit with your thumb up your ass waiting for an answer. I know. Yeah, that sucks.
But, all right.
Yep.
Well, now that we've got the niceties and all that stuff, now we can get down to it, and we can start cussing each other out. Yeah, over our
Because we're going
over
to
our-
disagree
our-
so much about
Yeah,
this.
we're
Good
gonna.
turn of the Jedi.
Let's go.
Who said that?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know who said that because I could barely understand what it was. Just sounded like a bunch of. But that's all right. All right. So, like I said, I'm gonna pose a question now that we will answer at the end. I just want to ask this question, and then we're gonna go through a whole bunch of stuff, and then we're gonna revisit it. Okay. So I don't
Okay.
need an answer yet. I want to
Yes.
say that. No answering yet.
Yes.
Think about it. Yes. Okay. Jake already says yes. Doesn't even know what the question is. All right. The question is:
Maybe.
Is the original Star Wars trilogy perfect?
Mm.
Do not answer.
Mm.
I might have to reel
Okay.
that one back in.
Well, Jake already said yes, so he's fucked. So we're gonna answer at the end, but now we're gonna go ahead. Now we're gonna talk. We are just gonna talk about how we feel about the original 3 movies. We're gonna say what we love and what we hate about them. If there's any hate, if there's any love, we want to be fair on both of those sides. I'm sure there probably will be a lot more of one than the other.
This
And
might be
we're going to talk about our favorite moments. This is going to be a whole lot different than the last one.
This might be our
Probably.
most visceral topic we've ever talked about.
Hmm.
I think the next one will be more when we talk about the sequels.
That's true. The
Mm.
sequels.
I think it's going to be a lot more.
I agree.
Okay.
They're a lot more polarizing than these movies. These are generally
true.
accepted as pretty damn good.
All right, somebody go before I go. I have a screaming child in her bedroom.
Okay.
That was quick. All right. Who wants to start then? Who wants to start on what they are like? You guys want to just start with the original movie?
Yeah, A New Hope.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think we should
since
start with
when
number one.
do you guys? So like me, well, I don't know about like me, but this was actually the Star Wars. I never saw these movies in theaters. Was definitely not old enough for them when they came out. But because the first one came out in the 70s. So
Yeah.
But whatever. This was the trilogy that I grew up with. I had all these VHSs in the 90s. I watched these. These were my Star Wars movies that I watched first and that I watched the most until, of course, being that 7 or 8 year old kid that liked all the pew pews and lightsaber whooshes and stuff like that were in the prequels. Obviously, but I always loved all of them until I got older and realized that the prequels are very, very flawed. But for me, I still love all 3 of these movies, especially the first one and the original second one, Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, so did you guys actually grow up with these, or did you start with the sequels or the prequels first?
I started with the prequels first, and I think that had a lot to do with my dad and the way that he wanted to introduce them. He likes to watch them in order,
Yeah.
not the release order, but the order that they're supposed to be watched in. And so that's how I grew up watching them. So that's why I feel like the prequel trilogy, I feel like is the one I'm
the
more.
prequel trilogy is your trilogy.
I'm more nostalgic trilogy for me. But I do remember watching the original trilogy or the I guess we're calling it the original trilogy.
Yeah, we're calling it the original.
Because
I mean, what else do you call it? Because it's called the prequels and then the sequels and then
and I
we'll
do
just call it the OG trilogy.
Really enjoying them because they weren't as boring as the prequel trilogy. So they had a lot more action and Darth Vader and all that. So
yeah,
I don't want to get into too much detail yet.
Yeah. We'll get everybody's thoughts here first, and then we'll kind of move in and talk about the movies. Again, though, spoiler alert: we're talking about the whole shit. There will be spoilers. If for some ungodly reason you haven't seen any of these movies, too bad. We're spoiling the shit out of them.
No,
stop listening to the podcast and go watch them right now.
Yeah, get a Disney Plus subscription and watch
or
all
just
of
buy
them.
I would say buy these movies. All right, for me, there's a line between watching a movie digitally and then movies being so goddamn good that I have to own them physically. Because obviously, you guys know I'm a digital gamer now. But when it comes to movies and stuff, I'm different. If it's a movie I don't really care about, we'll rent it on Netflix or HBO or whatever, and we'll watch it that one time, knowing that I would never watch it again, probably. And then if I'm like, that movie is fucking awesome, then I will go and buy it. But but yeah, these, go buy them. Don't rent them. Buy them.
I'm the same way, and I guess I'm kind of turning into a digital gamer, but you've seen my gaming collection.
I know you never trade games in either.
I never get rid of them. They're all
right, Chris. Chris,
I grew up.
Was this your trilogy that you grew up with? Knowing your mom, I'm sure it probably was.
And my dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched these well before I was really able to understand them.
Same.
And I saw them a lot of times, so I feel like the tonal differences in them, like between this and the trilogies, are kind of jarring.
Yes.
I'd say like this one was with, like, it starts off with like, the Death Star and Princess Leia is a fucking prisoner on it, and like that's in the middle
Spoiler
of the movie.
alert.
Yeah. Well, if you've never seen it, you don't know who Princess Leia is, and you can go fuck yourself.
Damn. Be nice to our growing audience.
Okay. You may go fuck yourself if you choose to.
Oh my gosh.
You have my permission.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Chris grew up with this trilogy as well.
Yep.
But yeah, I something that you said you watched these movies many times before you could really even grasp them.
Yes.
Since I grew up with this trilogy also, I used to think that Empire Strikes Back was boring when I was a kid because there isn't a lot of action after the initial Battle of Hoth and the very end. But that's that movie is way more of a tone-setting, storytelling through dialogue and stuff like that kind of shit. My internet connection is unstable again, it says right here.
Yeah, we missed the beginning of that last sentence.
Okay, well, I was just saying that, I was just describing what the movie is, what Empire Strikes Back is to me. But I was just saying that I used to think when I was a kid that it was really boring. But anyway, so Jake, you missed. Cheyenne said that she actually watched the Star Wars movies in order, and that she was shown the prequels before the original trilogy. So she actually grew up with the prequels. Did you grow up with this trilogy, or did you grow up with the prequels?
I grew up with the OG trilogy first.
Okay. So
I remember living. I remember living in Las Vegas and going to see the original trilogy when it got re-released in theaters.
I did not do that, but I did have the re-released VHSs.
I had the re-released and then the Lucas cuts, and I fucking hated them.
Fuck those. God, we're gonna talk about that too.
Yeah, my dad had all of them on VHS, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure my parents still own the original trilogy as they were.
Those are worth money because
but we ain't
they don't make them.
I was about to say my dad would never get rid of those.
We ain't getting rid of those. No, we ain't never getting rid of those.
But I guess I'm the odd one out here because my dad was like, nope, we're watching them in order. So like,
well,
you know how like everybody grew up with like, I feel like everybody my age grew up with like Princess Leia and stuff. I was like, Queen Amidala.
Oh no, come on now. No, Uh,
That's the one for. I mean,
have
I'm
to
a
laugh at
girl, so
that.
it's a little bit different for you guys. But like,
with Miles, Allison, and I, before we even had Miles, before we even had kids, and it was just a discussion about in the future. The whole we when we started watching Star Wars, like we're starting at 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's
There's
no
no
other
debate.
way
There's
that
no
you
debate.
can have your kids watch Star Wars. No other way other than
Yeah, because
four,
then
five, six.
there's no twist there.
Exactly. There's no
There's
other
no
way than
twist
four,
there. There's
five,
no
six,
yeah,
1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9.
yeah,
But how
100%.
that's how it has to be.
Yes.
And
that's
then
not
Miles
how it
Your
was.
dad robbed
Miles
you of
will
that
watch.
twist.
She will watch all the Avengers movies in theatrical release order too.
Nice.
You're
And
such a controlling father.
I have debated making her wait the amount of time every movie has come out.
Oh my God.
a
All right.
year
Enough
in
of that.
between
Enough
Endgame
of that. So,
So,
10
once-
years for Endgame.
Once she watches Infinity War, she has
She
to
has
wait a year before Endgame.
Fuck that.
God.
I would say I will probably wait a weekend and be like, all right, next weekend we'll watch Endgame. You guys have to wait a week.
It'll probably get cut down, but I've had that discussion. Like it's pretty solid. I might make her wait a year.
That's ridiculous. But can
No
you
internet.
wait another year?
You
Can
can't
you wait
Google
another
shit.
year?
You can't Google shit, Miles.
Oh
She's
no,
like,
she'll know.
Dad, I already know Spider-Man lives. I'm like, fuck you. We're watching it tonight then.
Oh man, we're gonna have to archive that right there. That's gonna be archived for sure. All right, so now that we've kind of got that out of the way, so what do we all love or hate about the original trilogy?
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Mark Hamill is a national treasure.
Yep. Carrie Fisher is too.
Yeah, well, she was.
Yeah,
yes.
she
Well, was
Unfortunately.
yeah. Sorry.
before
Yeah.
before her unfortunate passing.
I read both of her autobiographies that she has, and they're great.
I bought Allie both of them. She hasn't read them yet.
Oh,
Wow, come
tell her
on.
that she needs to read them because they're hilarious, and it goes through the her
Oh, we've
film
seen it.
Star Wars stuff too. So it's
Jake,
really
Jake is showing his Death
awesome.
Star 2 blanket that hangs from the wall.
It's
the
a
top of the wall.
tapestry. Thank you.
Okay.
That's no moon.
Shut up. Oh my God. That was the last thing I expected Cheyenne to say there.
I like that. Nice one.
But yeah, I love Carrie Fisher and her. If you guys haven't read her autobiographies,
I have
you
not.
should.
not.
She's pretty funny. I mean,
Yeah.
she's always
And-
funny.
I know I don't know how much you guys like to read the audiobook versions that I downloaded. I can get
Does she
audiobooks
narrate
from
them?
She narrated them. Yeah, it's really
That's
it's
awesome.
really not
Like,
it's
when did
really
she write
awesome.
them?
Huh?
When did she record it after her voice was destroyed somehow and turned into like old burnt rubbery bacon?
No. But
Dude,
I
she
love
was
the
a hard
the
drug addict. Of
instruction
course,
because
her voice was gonna.
she
Same.
knows how it was written because she wrote it, so the
Obviously.
inflection that she gets, it was really awesome. So I highly recommend, if you like Carrie Fisher, to read her autobiographies. Either way, read them or listen to them. So but yeah, Carrie Fisher's probably one of my favorite parts, along with Mark.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Chris.
I like how they I feel like the first trilogy, I know we're trying to focus on the first movie, but I feel like the first trilogy
Talk about whatever you
itself,
want.
Lucas really did a better job following characters' arcs through to fruition. Like there's no
He had a co-writer through the original and the second movie. That's why.
I would say that to me it always felt unnecessary for them to have written Luke and Leia as twins. Like it was always weird to me how they had that romance going, and then like obviously it can't happen because they're related, and then the Empire knows, and it's just like the whole Luke, I am your father. Like they never can one up that, but at the same time it kind of lacked the I guess the drama or like the complexity because you don't know enough about them, either
Yeah.
character really at that point.
I think that was kind of a weird decision to make in the writing process that George Lucas made when writing Return of the Jedi, because obviously you didn't know that they were related until then.
Mm-hmm.
It's only hinted to when Yoda goes, "There is another
That's not true.
Is it not true?
Okay, in mine, and I'm sure a lot of other people's head canons.
Okay.
In
You're gonna say that's
this,
not true and start with a headcanon.
yeah, in the scene where Luke initially meets Leia, and he goes, "I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you," and she goes, "You're who?" I feel like that's a huge tell.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like it is.
I feel like Return of the Jedi was the weakest of the original three.
I think we'd probably all agree with that. But again,
Yeah.
that movie was only written and directed by George Lucas. It was co-written by him and someone. The first two movies were co-written by him and another person. And they had a falling out based on the actual progression of the story, and the other guy left. But
And that's a palpable difference. Like you really can tell once
yeah, it's
once there's
very.
not
If you
someone
go back and
questioning
watch,
Lucas.
Return of the Jedi, it's very prequely. It's lightsaber flash every possible moment. There can be one. We got to whip the lightsaber out for anything and any reason.
Return
And
of the Jedi.
yes,
I'm just trying to think. It's not like I don't remember it, but it's been a minute since I've seen that one.
okay.
I
Well,
just
go ahead. Sorry, I don't. I just there was a long pause there, so I didn't want it to.
I just I don't agree with that. I don't think it's flashy for flashy's sake. I think this is the culmination of the first trilogy. It needs to be flashy to be the end of this trilogy part right here. This chunk of the story. It has to be.
I'm just saying you can
Because
draw. I just think you can draw Jesus Christ, you can draw parallels between the way the prequels are paced and the Return of the Jedi. But anyway, regardless,
well,
I think
it,
that's the weakest of
wasn't
the
it
three movies.
George
But we'll
Lucas
get.
himself that said the movies are like poetry? They rhyme.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
He did.
I
He
know
did.
that. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. That was something that the Red Letter Media review kept going back to every time they would relate something, be like, this is just like, oh wait. And then he would play that clip of him saying, so it's just like poetry. It just, sorry. When you said that, it just made me
It's
fucking laugh.
poetry. He wanted it to be like poetry. Each movie is a stanza and it has a rhyming
That's fine. That's
part.
fine. That's fine. We can disagree.
I mean,
I'm
look at A
not
New
that big
Hope
of a fan
and The
of
Force
Return of the Jedi.
Awakens. They're
That's
basically the
totally yeah,
same
but that one of
goddamn
those is written
movie,
by someone totally different.
but they're the same
Talk about
goddamn.
that next week. Talk about that next week. Oh no, did my Zoom freeze? Oh, is everybody back?
We're
Yeah.
back.
What the fuck?
We're
I don't
back.
understand, man. Again, my internet connection is unstable. Oh my gosh.
Stabilize it.
It's only done this the last 2 times since I actually have been recording with Zoom. So I think we're gonna do a different way. We're gonna do it a different way next time.
Yeah, it might be better.
Yep, this is it's a little bit annoying. But all right, sorry. But yeah, so let's talk about the actual movies and not the actors. What
Okay.
do we like or hate about episode 4, the original?
I will say that this was definitely the one that I watched the most on repeat, over and over and over again. Honestly, I think it's because when I was younger, 5 and 6 scared me more than episode 4 did.
Scared you?
Yeah, and I don't know why. I couldn't give you a solid answer as to why. Well, maybe I could. At least in episode 5, Han getting frozen in the carbonite always
Okay.
scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Interesting.
Just the image of him being like in the carbonite freaked me out.
The
The most.
Sarlacc pit was scary too to me as a kid.
I think Boba would agree.
He's fine. We all know he's fine.
Oh, spoilers again.
Uh,
Hope you've seen The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I hope you're current. Sorry about that. But no, 4 is
He was
definitely
in the
the
first
one I
episode of
watched
season
most
2.
on repeat, and I think it's because of the final assault on the Death Star.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the greatest assault scenes on a stronghold that I can ever think of.
Yeah.
Again, you mentioned earlier talking about other trilogies, Lord of the Rings. I've seen that series in its entirety once. I couldn't tell you the name of that big ass battle that everybody
Oh my God. All right.
squawns over.
Hold
And
on. Okay. Well, I haven't mentioned that yet on the podcast, but we'll get to it.
oh,
But yeah. So all right. I think I agree. I agree with the Battle of the Death Star being it does a very good job of building tension the entire
and it's
time.
and it's been parodized. Is that the right word? It's been done. It's been a
Imitated,
parody. It's been imitated.
parodied.
It's parodied
Okay.
in countless.
Those have two different definitions. So
Well, I mean, it's a parody and imitated. It's all the same. It's showing homage to that specific scene. Like off of the top of my head, the random episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy Turner does the Channel Chasers. They have a whole fucking scene.
I did not
dedicated.
expect the fairy godparents,
Fairly
to be-
Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd Parents, sorry, to be brought up during
Star Wars podcast.
during the Star Wars podcast.
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure Jimmy Neutron
Well, they did reference
did it. There's so many things that have referenced and parodied
yeah.
it. Like it's just one of those iconic cinematic scenes that you see. Just something like you've turned off your targeting system. What's wrong? You hear that and you're like, oh, they're referencing Star Wars. I get it. Like that just shows the magnitude of how big that whole scene in the movie was.
Mhm.
And
All right. Let's move away from this scene. We spent like 10 minutes talking about this. Sorry. But all right, let's actually talk about some of the movies. All right. So what I don't even know. Like, so why don't we talk about like the actual characters in the movies?
Luke was a
First-
whiny baby back bitch,
Okay, that's not true.
just
at all.
like his daddy.
Just like his daddy. That's not true at all, but that's okay.
Yes, it is.
It's
I
those
was
Skywalker
gonna-
genes.
I was gonna go into town get some power converters. I wanted to join the rebels. Yeah. Yeah. Shut up. Do it then, you bitch.
I like
Oh my
Han
God.
and
All right, Uncle
Chewie.
Owen.
Han and Chewie, I think, are good characters. Chewie, especially.
All right, stop. Stop. How? Okay, please explain to me how Chewbacca is a good character, other than him being
He's
Just
super
Chewbacca.
supportive.
really,
Yeah,
really okay.
he is.
Uh huh.
He's very supportive and
Please continue.
You can always count on Chewbacca.
Okay, that doesn't make someone supportive.
Yeah, it does.
No, that just,
He could have
just means you can count on
been a
him.
literal dog in this movie, in just this movie, and nothing would have changed.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did nothing.
that's-
He did nothing in
that's
this
fine.
movie. He does nothing in any of the movies.
If he was a literal dog, he'd still be the best character to me.
He's not a character. He exists. He simply exists.
I'm glad he does.
C3PO is a more of a character than Chewbacca.
I'm glad that he
Chewie
does.
is along for the ride.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's great
And then he's along for the nostalgia ride in all the other movies he's in.
in all the other ones. What about R2D2?
Even the
Is he a
prequels,
character?
when they
Yeah.
go to Kashyyyk.
I would even say R2D2 is a better character, more important character than Chewbacca.
Well, yeah, because
He's, he's integral to the
Yes,
whole
he's
story.
literally the entire story.
He
Because
drives
the
the
message
plot.
is given to him. Yes.
yeah,
the
he
plot
has
point.
the plans. Are we ever going to talk about the
He doesn't have the plans.
the movies, like the halfway movies, like Rogue One or Solo or anything?
Maybe later, but not
Okay.
for this. We're talking about the
That might,
trilogies.
that might
I've
be a
never seen Solo.
bonus. Meh,
Ah.
don't waste your time.
It's on
Yeah, it's
Netflix. It's pretty
trash.
good.
No, it's not.
It was.
All right.
Don't waste your
No.
time.
Chewie's
Cheyenne
in
just Cheyenne sees the Star Wars on it, and she's like, oh, "That's a good movie."
Must be.
No, she sees Chewie and just like,
Oh, he's my favorite character.
You're allowed to like Chewie.
No,
You're allowed to love
I
Chewie.
guess I'm not
You
allowed
like
to
him?
love Chewie.
I just say like, all right, if you can give me one valid reason why Chewbacca is your favorite character over Luke Skywalker or Princess Leia or
I
Han
didn't
Solo
say he was
or
my
Darth
favorite
Vader.
character. I said he was a good
or
character.
Grand Moff Tarkin. Even
I was
he's
going to
more
say
of an
even
important
Tarkin.
character.
Come on, yeah, come on.
He
Those
performs well under
cheekbones.
pressure.
Those cheekbones.
He
I
always
didn't
has,
say he was my
Han's
favorite
back.
character.
You're too trusting.
and he's always got like he makes his fucking Chewbacca noise. I'm not gonna attempt to do it. And then
That
he's
makes
always
him great.
you can always tell that whatever he's saying is fucking some snarky shit based on how people are reacting to him. Somehow they understand that.
But Han,
Yeah, that's Cheyenne right now.
Shitting on Chewbacca for no reason.
Yeah,
But I didn't
see
say.
these
I
fucking
want to
eyeballs looking through
clarify.
his mouth.
I didn't say he was my favorite character.
She's
I
walking
said
it
he was
back
a
now.
good
She's
character.
walking it back now.
Let's talk about importance of plot.
Yes, all right.
It's the first movie. It has to set literally the entire groundwork for all of these 9 movies.
Yep.
11 if you want to count the spin-offs.
We're not going to count them for now, but yeah.
Okay,
The
but
9 main movies.
This movie barebacks itself alone an entire universe that is just set for
Anything.
we can explore anything.
Except for
any
we
of
don't.
these-
Except for we never do.
We never
Well,
do.
but we.
We're starting to. We're starting to.
We don't
With-
even know that yet. For
With
real.
the reason, yeah. Well, I mean, we're getting.
Yeah, but
taste
the
of
But even
whole
every time you
universe-
think it's about to get there in Mando, it's like, but just kidding, Skywalker story again.
But are you
What was
saying that
Fucking, it's like
Star Wars
God
fans
damn
are
it.
getting a new hope
Shut up.
for lore expansion?
More expansion.
No,
Lore expansion. Yes.
it literally, especially now, and I think with the success of The Mandalorian, Disney and Lucasfilms, as much as they're involved, I don't know how much it is. They're realizing like
That now they have to make a billion
We-
TV shows.
we don't have to just talk about the Skywalkers.
There's a whole universe.
I want
Wait, what? Really? There
Where
is?
the
Are you sure?
Where the fuck has Darth Maul been the last 10 years between?
He's
You know,
dead.
Yeah,
him
but that's
getting
still the
cut in half.
Skywalker
Oh.
story, though. That's still part of the Skywalker story.
But-
That's fine.
Before-
That's fine, but it's part of
Saying
Obi-Wan.
they have
How
an
did-
entire
how did he
universe
come-
with
how did
millions
he-
of years to explore, and they can't. It has to
Exactly.
be within the Skywalker timeline for everything they make somehow.
How did Darth Maul come to be?
He was born.
Well, how did he come to be Darth
When
Maul?
Mama
Again,
Well-
Darth
again,
Maul
now we're
goes,
talking about
"Hey,
Darth Maul. We're talking about Darth Maul right now.
God damn it, you beat me.
Okay, we haven't even literally hit on anything apart.
Well,
these
then,
movies.
Make us
We're
hit
getting
on it.
sidetracked
Matt.
as
We
well.
are
Let's go.
40 minutes in.
God damn it.
Okay, what's your first bullet point? Let's go.
All right,
We're only on the
whatever.
first
Okay.
one.
All right. Does this? We're just going to talk about this. All right. For the trilogy, does it have a strong start, a strong middle, and a strong end?
It has
A
a
strong,
strong
end.
start. It has a decent middle and a compelling ending.
So, to you, is the weakest part of this trilogy the middle?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Because it's just the continuation. It's here's what's happening right now. And then stay tuned next time for the next episode of Star Wars Ball Z.
All right.
so are
that
you
might be
telling me
controversial.
The Empire Strikes Back is the the worst movie of these three?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Well,
I
then what
love
are you?
Empire.
That's the
I'm
middle.
no, I'm saying the story itself is very. It's not super
Is it incomplete?
integral. No, it's not super integral to the story. Yes, Han gets captured and frozen in carbonite. We find out that Luke or Darth Vader is Luke's father. But
Yep.
the
But
end
for
the-
storytelling,
the- Exactly. That's what I'm getting to. The start of Luke's journey and the end, quote unquote, for that trilogy of Luke's journey is in 1 and 3. And that's what we need to know.
Yeah, but the overcoming of the third. So like, all right. So
Where does he
if-
overcome the fact that he knows that he's his father? In 3
And
or in
in
6?
the last movie? But yes, but I'm
Exactly.
saying the middle part. So in a 3-part of anything, you can't have 3 separate resolutions.
No,
You have to
there are
have.
there's minor resolutions in every movie. And I would argue that Empire Strikes Back doesn't have a resolution.
No, it doesn't. That's why, because it's in the middle.
Exactly.
There's a strong middle.
That's
you don't
what
get a
I'm saying.
resolution in the middle. That's why the Last Jedi is shit.
I'm not saying it's not strong. I'm just saying I don't believe, other than 2 or 3 main key points, it's not as integral to the whole story as 1 and 3 are.
Yes, no, it is, because you have to see that growth in Luke, because he's literally just in that movie. Yoda's trying to tell him, like, look, you are
That's
not as strong as you think you are.
That's the
are
key.
it's what
That's
is
the key. It's just
the
watching
middles
Luke
without the
grow.
growth, you don't get the end. You
Yeah,
don't get
he
him
doesn't
being a
have it.
Jedi master and being in control of his emotions until his
But did
final
we
fight
need
with
a
Is
Vader.
he
whole
is
movie
he in
to
control
show
of his
us his growth?
emotions? Is he in control of his emotions in Return of the Jedi? When he's sitting there hacking and slashing at Darth Vader, just trying to kill him.
That's
Is he?
okay. Listen though, he literally is like a wild child swinging at Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back, and he's getting absolutely. Literally, Vader is toying with him the entire time. He's using one
When you
hand,
find out the
just
evil
fucking
Empire
destroying him.
is your father,
What? Say that again.
wouldn't you start just emotionally
No,
hacking
I'm
and
saying yeah,
slashing?
but he did. By the time he finds out, he doesn't even have a hand anymore.
Exactly, because he lost it already.
That's what. Never mind. Whatever.
I just
That's all.
think
That's what
that
I'm
he needed
saying.
something to overcome. And the
Yes,
second one is
yes, you
integral
have to
that.
overcome something in if you're gonna have a story. That's what. So the first movie is 2 hours long. The second movie is probably 2 hours and 20 minutes. The third movie is probably just about that long. That's how long? 8 hours of storytelling almost,
Give or
right?
take.
You need to have something to overcome. It just can't be us. It's like, all right, we win again at the end of the first movie. You know, like, woohoo! It was a new hope. They're coming back against the Empire. They have a foothold now. They can actually start warring against the Empire. And it looks like
Not
Wow. Okay.
every time every single time I say something, God damn
Yeah.
it. I was saying,
Well-
so at the end of the first one, it had a resolution, right? Kind of,
Sort of.
where it was basically it was a
prevented
battle.
the immediate threat.
Yes, it proved that the rebels could actually fight the Empire because they destroyed the Death Star, which was this all-powerful, thing, literally planet destroyer.
Death Ray.
Yeah. And then in the next movie, they have to overcome the might and the force and the power of the Empire, basically just trying to stomp them into the dirt. And they pretty much they almost succeed because they almost kill Luke. They freeze Han, and there's no like you're like, oh fuck, they're at the bottom at the
Yeah,
end of that
you're
movie.
left hanging.
Because the Empire wins in Empire Strikes Back. That's why it's called The Empire Strikes Back. They're literally on their heels at the very beginning of the movie and running away from them the whole time.
So, to go off what you said, they win the battle.
Yes.
They don't win the war.
Exactly. So they
That's
have
the point
to
of the trilogy.
Yeah. But I'm just saying.
I just don't
think
think it's as integral to the main trilogy as a lot of people hype it up to be. It is a great movie. I love
it's the
it.
best movie. It's the best of the three
Exactly.
movies.
I'm not in disagreement with you on that point. I just don't think, as a whole, Empire Strikes Back is that important.
Oh, how? He meets Yoda. He's getting trained. He's learning about the Force in that movie. He's learning to
That's like-
trust himself. You get
Okay,
all these
he
lessons
meets
in
Yoda
that
and
movie.
starts. Luke meets Yoda, starts training. He finds out he's his dad, and Han gets frozen. That's 3 main points that you could sum up in 45 minutes.
You can say that about all the movies. What's the first one? He leaves the farm. He gets a lightsaber. They blow up the Death Star. What else happens in the first one?
I just don't. I don't hold it to as much.
In the third
acclaim
one,
as
goes to
others
Jabba's
do.
palace to rescue Han. What happens after that? I don't know. They destroy the Death Star again.
I think when you're talking about this trilogy, it's important to remember when it came out, and view it through
Yes.
that kind of lens, because back then, like spaceships, in the 70s, they were like really clean and the music was tinny and they were all electric and shiny, and credits started in the fucking beginning of the movie and the end of the movie was at the fucking end of the movie, and it was done. Like that was it. They were all one chick chick chick. There wasn't like a trilogy space show. And this one, they
They
didn't
also
have
weren't taken
CGI.
seriously before Star Wars either.
They didn't have CGI. How do I put it? This was one of the first movies that had like really good effects.
Practical
that-
effects.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
that
no,
were-
this is the first movie that had decent actual. In that age, you would call it CGI now, but it was animation then. But
Mhm.
Yeah, it was miniature.
like the first scene is computer generated.
Like the lightsabers and the space battles and all that
Yeah.
shit was fucking revolutionary. Like think of it, like nothing compares to it for back then.
No, I mean,
And if you look at it through that lens, like that's how it could captivate a generation because it's the first time someone has seen that.
oh,
And on top of
and
that, the story is good.
exactly. I'm not downplaying the importance of the original trilogy at all. What I'm
I
saying.
want to make a so for me, the thing that makes there's two things that make a trilogy good: the ending and the middle. If it has a weak either one of those, the trilogy falls flat, and you're just kind of like, eh.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yes,
Why do you disagree?
because I won't give a shit unless the beginning's good enough for me to hold on to.
True.
Okay.
If
all
their
right.
story
I mean,
is
I
not
wasn't
important,
saying that if the beginning is shit, then I'll come back. But I'm just saying.
no, if the story is
that-
not good enough for me to hold on to, then I don't give a shit about the other movies that come out.
All right, sure. So then you're just saying they all three have to be great again. But you've seen
That's how I feel
trilogies that
about
aren't
Narnia.
good.
Which is exactly what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with any three of them. I just have my issues with Empire.
You're allowed to.
All right, what yeah, please again. If you haven't said them, I need to hear them then.
I've said them multiple times. I've
Okay.
said that the Empire Strikes Back is it's a filler episode.
No.
We get development. We get more of the
That's
plot.
what you need to make something good. People shit on the new movies because there is no development.
I liked that because I liked when it was him being trained by Yoda and he was explaining and making it like spiritual.
Again, like what you were saying, you got to put yourself in the first time ever hearing it.
Yeah.
It's your first time ever hearing about the Force. Of course, it's going to be captivating. Of course, it's going to be like mystical and brand
Yeah,
new.
that's why it's important. That's why you need it.
I can't stop saying this. It is important. I just don't think it's as integral as a lot of people say it is.
Because you could skip it and still understand what's happening. You could watch 1 and then watch 3 and still
But
understand.
Exactly.
that's not what makes it good. I mean, that the stuff that's in there like that, the stuff that gets fleshed out is what makes stories compelling. Because you can just tell someone story beats and they'll be like, okay, that's cool, I guess. Because like, again, what did everybody criticize the last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones for? There was no build up to anything. Everything was
It was
just
rushed.
plot. Everything was just plot points. There was nothing in between plot point after plot point.
But I guess without Empire Strikes Back, you don't feel as connected to Luke
Exactly.
emotionally because you didn't, like, if you just went from 1 to 3, let's say, you're not as attached to him because you didn't go through all of that
The struggle.
Empire Strikes Backs with him because he was at his lowest point. Okay. And so you're there with him, you know? And then in 3, you really want to see him overcome and
Yes.
you know, and so I feel like it is integral because you need that
You
emotional
need that.
connection.
You get that payoff
for-
at the end of
for
the
3
of a
to
third.
be for 3 to be really good, you need that emotional connection to Luke from 2.
Yeah, because you've seen him lose. You've seen him lose, and
Like-
you don't want to see it again.
I totally understand what you're saying, Jake, and I was on board at the beginning, and then I kept thinking about it, like, okay, if I did just take out 2 completely, like, but I just feel like you really need that emotional attachment. You need to really care about the characters for it to really work.
And that's fair. There's nothing in me saying that just get rid of 2.
Right.
I again can't say it enough. I just don't think it's as important.
Yeah, I guess
I just think that you don't get a satisfying resolution without any kind of struggle. If someone
No,
just walks straight,
and I agree
like,
with that.
so I'm
If
saying
they
the
just
middle, you don't get a
win
good
everything.
ending without a good middle.
If you go through and win every battle that you're thrown into, this is a boring story. I'm watching a Superman movie, and okay, Superman's fighting the villain of the week,
Yeah, I
and
know.
he's gonna win. That's
Because
why
he's
they did the
Superman,
whole
because
arc
he's
of
overpowered,
Doomsday.
and that's a different episode because I don't really
needed-
like Superman.
We needed to see Superman die or lose, and that's why they introduced Doomsday. You needed somebody to show up that they're not all powerful. They're not a god in this universe. There are people too. They're human. They can lose, and I agree with that. I just don't hype it up and
There's
believe in
I
that
just
as much.
I just wholeheartedly disagree.
And that's fine. I'm totally fine with
Everything that pays off in the last movie does not come to fruition without the knowledge that is gained in the previous movie.
But
So if you
who's to
don't
say-
find out that Darth Vader is Luke's father in that movie, there's like you have, so you find out in a separate movie, you see the struggle and all that stuff. You don't really get that payoff of it's been years now since he's known, he's come, he's trying to turn Darth Vader.
has it
right?
been years?
At that point, yeah. And through the timeline of the movie,
Here's the
it's
thing.
been years since the end of, or
Your
at least several years.
Your point here is not wrong. You are not wrong in saying that. Absolutely. You need to see that there has been a progression. You need to see that there has been change in a character. You need to see that there has been growth in a character. I just Empire is probably the most boring movie to me.
That's fine. All right.
I mean, I
Everybody-
can
I
see
didn't
that
say-
because in the first one you get to see
There's
the
less
bad
action in that
stuff,
movie, but
and
it's
then
That's
it's
not
the
even
most
it.
it's the most
you get-
important.
You get introduced to so many cool characters now. You get introduced to Boba Fett. You get
Yoda,
introduced to Yoda. Exactly. Like main
the
staples.
Emperor makes his first appearance, I believe, at some point as a hologram in that movie.
Incredibly main staples in the entire Star Wars franchise. There's nothing wrong with that movie. It's a good movie. I'm not saying that Empire Strikes Back is a bad movie. I'm saying
I never
don't-
thought you said it was a bad movie.
Exactly. Well, as long as we're on the same page there. I just never
I'm just saying
saw
with
it as this
without
super huge movie, because you're right. You can't introduce them in a two-part movie. You can't. You can't introduce them and have the same impact as they have
but
in a trilogy.
I would also say though, if you think back, we're in a second we're going to compare this trilogies to some other trilogies, and several of these, the best movie is in the middle, and that's what makes a trilogy so good. If you can have a good ending, like the way, all right, yeah, we'll get to the ending here now. So in Return of the Jedi, I do think the ending is about as good as it could have been. I don't think there's really
They
anything
tried to
that
wrap it up cleanly. That's what
Yes,
it
Yeah.
is.
yes. I think it was a perfect ending, and the way
There
they
were-
took it, the way they took the sequel trilogy, I hate that they basically took the perfect ending and they were just like, wait, but we'll do it exactly again.
There were no loose ends. There were
Yes,
there's
everything was
other
tied up.
stories. There's other stories that you could
Yes,
follow.
you could have
up
done
and
other
down.
stories with other characters in the sequel trilogy and left the original ending fine.
And everything would have been just fine. Like, okay, sure, there's still, pieces of the empire
Yes,
surviving out
obviously,
there.
yeah,
Let's follow them. Let's see what the hell they're up to.
yes. Which
I don't need to know what
you
Luke
get that in the
Skywalker-
Mandalorian, and I think it's great.
Yes. I don't need to know what else is going on with the Skywalker family and their whole drama.
Yeah, if anything, if we're gonna see them again, can we get them in some other kind of struggle versus let's just make the perfect ending that we had completely inconsequential and mean nothing?
Yep.
Which,
Bring
if
back
anything,
Palpatine,
the sequel
whatever.
trilogy made this ending worse because it basically just discounted it and said it didn't matter. This didn't need to happen.
It took what was special about it and just was like,
Yeah, exactly.
not good enough.
Exactly.
So the special thing was, Darth Vader, who is obviously Luke's father, everybody's, you assume he's lost. He's super evil. There's nothing you can do. And then because Luke won't like give up on him and he refuses to kill him,
Yep.
Mhm.
he comes back to the light side and kills the Emperor because the Emperor is going to kill Luke instead. So
Throws him down that
basically,
fucking hole. Like,
yeah, throws him in the hole. Throws him in the hole. Somehow that causes the Death Star to blow up, but whatever.
That doesn't
'Cause
cause
he's
Death Star
shooting
to blow
lightning
up.
all
it makes
time.
it look like it. It makes it look like it because then it starts blowing up as he goes in there and it goes. I'm just saying. I know that the Millennium Falcon went in and destroyed it, but it was just funny. I always imagined the Emperor falling down and as the Millennium Falcon's flying in and just splats on the windshield, and then they blow it up. But
how did that bastard survive that?
they didn't explain it very well, Chris. But apparently the other Emperor is a clone.
Some
He didn't
say
survive. They never said anything in the
that the
movie.
dark
It's
side
written in the novelization. He's a clone apparently.
leads to some
In,
powers that people make.
Oh God, stop.
natural.
All right, but yes. So we all agree though that I don't think there's any way we can think of a better ending for the way that it wrapped up.
No, it was great.
Okay.
I
Alright.
love to see the ending with Lando
Yep.
which we heard in Empire that
Uh-huh.
the Millennium Falcon was his,
Yep.
and I like to see him flying it.
Well, we knew that before because
Mhm.
he said that he won it or he lost
Yeah.
it to Han.
Exactly. So
Han won
I
it
thought it
from.
was cool. It was nice to see Lando flying the Millennium Falcon with that one dude with the lips going.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
All right, all right. One more thing about
I
this
do have
trilogy.
something
Okay,
to
go
say
ahead.
actually. I thought about it. All right, so this is not related to the trilogy. You guys might not know, but during the Jedi Civil War, there was the most powerful Sith that ever lived is Darth Nihilus, and I'll tell you a little bit about him. He was a Jedi who got corrupted and decided to betray his master and became a Sith, and then through training, he learned the ability to absorb other people's force energy, and he became so powerful that he literally engulfs worlds, like taking every being's life force from them, from the whole planet, and absorbing it into himself. And basically, when the Jedi eventually overcome him and his might and fucking kill him, he has to learns the ability to take his life force and he puts it in his armor, and then they take that and they go and destroy him in his armor, and then they bury him alive. And anyway, he learned the ability to pull his life force out and put it somewhere else. And maybe that's something it's never alluded to, but maybe that's something Palpatine can do, because Nihilus could do it, so maybe Palpatine can do it.
It's funny you say that. Actually, now that Disney owns Star Wars, there's a line of Darth Vader comics, and Darth Vader actually used found that helmet and used it as a Sith artifact to believe I saw part of it. He used it to actually craft his lightsaber. So do you guys know how Sith make their lightsabers?
No.
So red kyber crystals
Why it's
don't
red?
actually exist. Red kyber crystals don't actually exist. They have to kill a Jedi and bleed the crystal by using the force on that crystal that they stole. They have to. It's like a ridiculous trial that sometimes they die from, because it takes so much power to pour into it to craft. You have to bleed it. So I don't remember exactly. That's what they call it. They call it bleeding the kyber crystals. That's why they turn red. But you basically pour your dark side, you pour dark side force energy or whatever into it. And I read the comic of talking about how Darth Vader got his lightsaber, and he almost died from it, but he used, I don't know, but whatever.
That'd be so cool to see. Why couldn't they have shown us that?
It would be cool. We could maybe in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
I hope so. God, I hope so. I want to see some more Darth Maul. Like, I want to see some rivalry.
Fuck Darth Maul. I'm done. I'm done with Darth Maul.
I'm not fucking go Darth Maul.
I'm not done with Darth Maul at all.
Watch the Clone Wars. I'm just saying, for this conversation, I'm done with Darth Maul. All right.
No,
Were there any Were there any lingering questions left that were integral to the story when this trilogy finished?
Return of the Jedi.
Yes. Any lingering questions like there are after this most recent?
That's the next podcast.
Yeah, but
No,
any lingering questions that you can think of that you were just like.
It wrapped up its internal story very well.
I think that it left some questions about the Force and the nature of the Force and like the nature of the Jedi, like their ways.
Yeah, but I mean, like, to the plot though. Any lingering plot questions or plot holes left?
Okay.
Sorry, that's what I meant. I wasn't talking about just like lore questions you wanted answered, that you wanted to see. But if you can't think of any, that's fine. Because
I don't have any.
All right, so now we've got about a half hour left, so we've still got a good amount of time. But we're gonna go ahead and compare it to some other really good trilogies that not all of us have seen every single one of these, so we might not talk about them all equally. But the first one I want to talk about and compare it to, and we're gonna go through and try to see like if we can come to a resolution about which trilogy is better, the Star Wars trilogy we're talking about, or the trilogy we're gonna compare it to, and why they may be similar in certain ways more than the others or whatever. But the first one I wrote down is one of my favorite trilogies. I fucking love these movies so goddamn much. But that's the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You about to shoot yourself? Come on. Whatever. Chris, I know you love Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
I love Lord of the Rings. Cheyenne is MIA. Sounds like
They
Jake
are-
doesn't like Lord of the Rings.
So boring.
What are you talking about? So boring. See, this is the guy that shit on the prequels, right? All he wants is lightsaber out, woo, 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 slice, slice, slice. That's pew, pew, pew. That's all he
let
wants.
me give my defense. I don't like
Alright.
Middle Earth.
You don't like Middle Earth, okay?
No, I don't like that time frame. It's so boring to me.
It's not a
It's like
time.
medieval
What do you
shit's
mean?
boring to you.
So you just mean
No.
you don't like fantasy Middle Ages settings. Is that what you mean?
No, because I enjoyed Game of Thrones a lot, but
Oh.
I don't like Lord of the Rings. And I honest to God, if I were to sit here for the next hour and a half try to explain to you why I don't like it, it wouldn't make any sense because I don't understand. I don't like Lord of the Rings.
All right. Okay.
I
Chris, are
have-
you there? Or like, because
I
now
have
we've got two.
never-
We only got 50% of the people here now. All of a sudden,
I've never seen any of the Hobbit movies. I don't care to
those,
see it.
those suck. You don't need to see the Hobbit movies; they're garbage.
The only
just
thing
bad
that
movies.
interests me in watching the Lord of the Rings is Orlando Bloom as Legolas, and what's his name as it's the dude that plays Mr. Smith in The Matrix and Red Skull
Yeah. Why does he interest you? He's barely a character.
because he's a character. I like him as an actor.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
I've
Cheyenne, do you like
watched-
Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, let's talk about Lord of the Rings. Jake shits on. He said he hates it. He thinks it's trash. He
I
thinks-
don't
he said it's
hate
the
it.
worst thing ever.
I don't
That's not
hate
as
it.
good- It's not
Jesus.
as good as Star Wars.
Okay,
Thank you.
That's fine.
It's a lot more story heavy versus action heavy.
Yes. Yes.
Which,
story
I mean-
matters.
The stories does matter, but the
Everybody's gone. Where's everybody going?
the action.
I had to take a leak. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to listen to it.
Just say something.
I didn't have to.
Jesus. If Cheyenne didn't just come back right there, I'd literally be sitting here alone right now. Like,
No, you wouldn't.
all right, I'm sorry, Cheyenne. Story heavy. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Anyway.
I feel like a good story just being told is just boring. It can be very boring.
Then why do you
And-
read a book?
Because
Our
there's
book's not boring.
there's action in books too.
Are you all right? Hold on one second. Have you read the first like 4 pages of The Hobbit where he just describes a fucking doorknob?
No, because it's boring.
Well, oh my god! And then everybody's always like, the books are always so much better. There's so much more stuff in the books. They go into so much more detail
Okay, wait,
about
wait,
everything.
wait,
and then you're gonna
wait,
sit here and tell
wait,
me that all you
wait.
want. All right, go ahead.
Wait.
for
I'm
it.
not saying that the Hobbit or the Lord of the Ring books are better. They're boring AF too. Because there's no action in the story. Like,
Chris, we got people in here that just
read-
wants the
you
pew
can
pews
read
shot
about
and
the
the
Death
woo-woos
Star
of the
blowing up.
lightsabers.
I hear this.
it's like, whoa. You don't have to see the Death Star blowing up for there to be action.
Apparently, you do.
You didn't feel like the Battle of
You
Helm's
don't feel like
Deep
a
was
40-minute
badass?
long battle at Helm's Deep is good or cool at all whatsoever?
Nah.
It's like the greatest cinematic battle ever.
I guess if you like war stories and stuff, but the way that it's
What is Star Wars? Star Wars has literally got war in the title.
but it's not a historical war.
Lord of the Rings is an epic. It's like more of an epic. Oh my
Cheyenne.
It's not a
Cheyenne.
historical war either.
I gotta call bullshit on that one too because his Lord of the Rings was not historical.
I'm just saying it's got more historical.
Yeah, you know
like,
that
it's
Middle
got
Earth.
mounts.
That,
and
that,
stuff.
that,
In Star Wars, you're in space with spaceships.
Hey.
in Lord of the Rings, you're in Middle Earth with orcs and elves
Eh.
and dragons.
I don't find
One dragon.
that
One
There's
dragon.
multiple dragons.
I don't find that time period interesting at all.
Okay, all right,
Boring
whatever.
AF.
That doesn't make any sense to me. That you're like, oh, it's cool in Game of Thrones, but apparently it's not cool in Lord of the Rings.
It was cool in Game of Thrones while it was happening.
Cheyenne, you're blowing your mic out. You're blowing it out.
It was cool while Game of Thrones was happening, but looking back on it, It's bottom tier.
But Game of Thrones had more action.
What? It would have a battle every season.
But it was
That's 10 hours long
That's 7
per
more
season.
battles. That's
What?
6 or 7 more battles than Lord of the Rings.
Most of Lord of the Rings is
You'd have to
them
wait
walking
weeks
to
for.
Mordor.
You would literally get 3 or 4 episodes in a row of Game of Thrones where they're just talking in rooms, and you're gonna sit here and tell me that Lord of the Rings is boring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right,
Chris,
you're allowed to
please.
feel that way.
Chris, I need you to back me up. I have to pee.
Okay.
So please. I'm getting mad.
So the thing that something I liked about Lord of the Rings as a trilogy was that it was basically it like Star Wars is like the good versus evil thing, and it's about like overcoming
Unsurmountable task.
an unsurmountable task, but conducted by the smallest, least, like no one would expect that. Like a hobbit's the
The
size of
They're
a
underdog.
fucking
the
child.
least powerful kind of people
Exactly.
Yeah.
conducting an unsurmountable task. Yeah, exactly.
The underdog.
And
David
I-
and
I-
Goliath.
And I liked the elements. How do I put it? Like all the shit aside, that the journey was epic in my opinion. Like I thought it was amazing. It was like an Odyssey kind of,
Yeah.
but in Middle Earth. Like they're walking across the continent to a volcano to destroy the ring.
Just take the goddamn eagle. Please, just fly.
Okay.
Fly there.
I'm not arguing that it wasn't a great story, but have you read Homer's Odyssey? It's boring.
I agree.
I'm not saying that it's a bad story. I love the Odyssey and the Iliad, and when we had to read them, I love the Greek mythology stuff. I love all of that, but compared to Star Wars, it's boring.
It's not captivating. It doesn't grab your attention like, hey, look at this. We've got laser fucking swords.
That we can cut people in half with.
And they don't bleed.
But there's like a whole realm of fucking grotesque monsters. There's like a whole army of them wanting to genocide humanity. And there's other races, like humans themselves are corruptible and they're crazy. You get to see the fucking the power of temptation in that
What
the
do you
ring
smell?
gives you.
I
Man
smell
flesh.
humans. Man flesh. Let's go get them. Roar.
All right. It seems like Chris didn't make any headway, unfortunately.
No, they're not going to be convinced.
Chris, we're together on this. They're fools. All right.
We're right.
So I will though say
I will take a
still-
space odyssey every day.
Over
Over
a
anything
Middle
Middle
Earth
Earth.
walking simulator.
Cheyenne.
And I
Shut
think
your
that's
mouth.
where my issue with The Witcher falls.
Your issue? How do you have an issue with The Witcher an hour in?
What's the
You talking
thing?
about a game or the show?
What's your issue?
The game. That I'm like
Played for like 40 minutes.
Whoa, Jake, you're digging a hole. Back up. The Witcher's amazing.
What's your issue with it? Like,
All right,
are you just-
no.
I don't think that's
No.
my issue. I think that's why I have a
No.
hard time getting over the hill of just start it, just play it.
Okay.
Do you feel like you're trudging through it?
Is Lord of the Rings better than the original Star Wars trilogy? I still
No.
will say no.
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 Okay. All right. Now, the next trilogy I have written down. Because I'm gonna fucking rage in a minute. All right. This
Got his ass
trilogy
beat
for me,
Might have just
the
ruined
more
his whole
that I think about it, in my opinion, the way that it flows parallels the original Star Wars trilogy perfectly, and that's the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. And now let me say why. First movie. Okay, so you have Batman Begins, right? Versus, why are you making that fucking duck face?
I
You're
didn't think you were gonna say the Batman trilogy.
You didn't think I was gonna say the Batman
Why not?
trilogy? What do you think I was gonna say?
gonna say the Batman trilogy trilogy.
Do you
I
not
thought-
like it?
No, I love it. I thought you were
Okay.
going to say the Spider-Man trilogy.
No, I don't have the Spider-Man trilogy written down here because it's trash. There hasn't been a good Spider-Man trilogy at all yet. There's been one good.
It's pizza
Right.
time.
Pizza time.
My God.
Okay. All right. There's been 2 good Spider-Man pairs, 2 movies, duos, 2 of them.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the best one.
Spider-Man: Homecoming, Far From Home, and 1 and 2 with Tobey Maguire. Come on.
Yes. Anyway, okay.
And The Amazing Spider-Man.
So, shut up! God, we got 15 minutes to get the rest of this in. All right. So for me, they parallel each other pretty similarly. The first one is obviously the first one for both is it's not as much of an origin story, obviously, in Star Wars because there's no superhero-ness, but it's more of like a getting to know Luke, right? And getting to know that, where you spend a very long time in Batman Begins just getting to know Bruce Wayne. What makes him tick? Who is he? Why does he want to do these things? And you see that the character development of him being young Bruce Wayne, coming back from college and trying to kill his parents' killer, and then being like, wow, that was fucking stupid. Why would I do that? And you see Luke also making mistakes, not similarly like that, but anyway, like that. So I think of the 3 movies, the story beats most differ in the first one. But after that, you have, in my opinion, with both, the best of the 3 as the sequel. They both have very good endings that you're like, oh, wow, okay, that was really good. I'm all on board for what's next. Cool. And you get a teaser at the end of Batman Begins, the Joker card. And you're like, oh, sweet. Can't wait. And then you get in The Dark Knight and The Empire Strikes Back, which are probably in my top 2 or 3 favorite movies, both of them. You get almost the same kind of thing where you have the villain wins at the end. Spoiler, I guess, for the Batman movie. If you haven't seen it, I don't understand what you're doing with your life if you haven't seen The Dark Knight. But like some people will say, like, oh, Batman didn't die or anything. So, I mean, he beat Joker, he caught him, but that was not the point. The Joker just wanted to show Batman that he's stupid and that he can be beaten because he basically corrupts Batman into killing Harvey Dent at the end of the movie. And, Luke Skywalker loses and has this horrible come to Jesus about who his father is. And they're both left at the bottom, the bottom of their existence. Batman's being hunted through the streets now for the next several years. And Luke and the rest of the rebels are at their low, and they have to spend years trying to get Han back and stuff like that. And then you have, in my opinion, the weakest of the 3 movies for both of these, which being Dark Knight Rises and the Return of the Jedi. Now you have a lot more overcoming of struggle for Batman in this movie. He gets a comeuppance at the beginning of the movie because he's a cocky bastard who thinks he can just get away with whatever he wants. But the ending, in my opinion, is better for Star Wars in this regard. But they're almost along the same kind of roller coaster, I would say. But anybody else want to make any comparisons to talk about either one of these trilogies?
I just wonder if Batman relies too heavily on the fan base already being there.
Wait, what do you mean?
Know what I mean?
Are you saying it's like rehashing the same thing again and again and again?
Yeah.
It's pre-existing notions.
I mean,
Yeah, because Star Wars was kind of like,
that was the first of its kind.
Yeah,
yes, in that setting, but George Lucas famously has a lot of, like, he's heavily inspired by like Flash Gordon serials and stuff like that.
yeah, but I mean, you
like,
had
and
Batman-
tropes that, like, you would think that like the tropes of Star Wars originated in Star Wars, but that is absolutely not the case.
But that's the fallacy in comparing these 2 things as it is. Like George Lucas is writing Star Wars as it goes, and then all the movies that we see of any superhero thing is
based off the comic book.
Yes, so we're all familiar with those stories. So
I mean, that's
they're not really that comparable.
That's the difference.
I'm not talking about their origins or why they exist. I'm just talking about
Well, if you
which one is better or which one's, or whatever. That's what we're just comparing the trilogies themselves.
if you would let me finish.
Okay, fine, go.
Let me finish.
Jake, put your hand down. I'm not calling on you.
So,
Cheyenne,
so what I'm
Cheyenne
what
apparently
I'm,
needs to finish.
will you shut up for a second?
Guys, hold on. All right, go.
What I'm saying is, like, Star Wars had to make you invested into Luke, the original trilogy, right? From nothing. But we're as nerds and people who read comic books and stuff, we're already invested in Bruce Wayne as a character. Shut up.
I have one more point.
Shut up.
He was
At
destroyed
least let
in
me
the last two
finish.
Batman movies before these. Destroyed.
I didn't hear what you said because I'm not listening to you right now. It's my turn.
All right, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is,
I can't even hear you now.
Batman trilogy rely too much.
Cheyenne, can you please legitimately calm down for a second? Your mic is blown out and it's not recording you.
Every time I talk. Does the Batman trilogy rely too much on?
And legitimately, you're too quiet.
Literally trying to tell you that the last 2 minutes. You're blowing your mic out.
Does the Batman trilogy rely too much on preconceived fandom base? Is what I'm trying to say. So therefore, I think Star Wars is better because they really had to draw you in. They had to pull you in saying, you need to be attached to this Luke Skywalker character because this story is amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Does that, but does that, but does that really make a movie better that it had a fan base beforehand? Or worse?
It makes it more popular and more
Yeah.
easily attractive to go to and see
but
and spend your money on.
To be fair, Batman was also just dragged through the absolute ringer and just destroyed by Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. His popularity, I would say, was probably at an all-time low by the time Batman Begins came out in 2005.
That's not a fair argument.
Is it not?
No.
But I don't see what the fandom has to do with any of this.
Because
between whether it makes a movie good or not.
Because look at Iron Man.
Okay.
Before
he was
Iron
non-existent.
Man, the movie before the movie came out, nobody gave a shit about Iron Man. He was a joke.
Same with Spider-Man.
He was a tin
No.
man.
Are you kidding me? Spider-Man was the figurehead of Marvel.
He was such a figurehead that he was sold to Sony.
It doesn't matter
because Marvel was going
on the
bankrupt.
brink of bankruptcy. Exactly. That's why he was sold.
Cheyenne, I can't hear you at all.
They had to sell their most popular character
To survive.
And
Marvel said, you know what? What do we have left? Iron Man, fuck it. Let's go. And they built an entire cinematic universe that lasted 10 plus years.
Okay,
off of
that's
one
fine.
movie.
We got 10 minutes. But I still don't understand what that has to do with whether the movies are good or bad.
It's not whether the movies
why
are
does
good.
why does a pre-existing fandom make a movie not as good?
It's not whether the movies are good or bad. It's how well they succeed and how well audiences grasp.
I'm not asking their box office. I'm just saying which trilogy do you think is a better three sets of movies?
The entire second point I made. It's whether or not audiences are able to grasp to that character.
Okay.
Star Wars started from nothing. We knew absolute dick about Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
And the fact that they were able to make a movie, George Lucas, for the original trilogy, as much as he was involved, he was able to say, hey, here's Luke Starkiller. You know what? Never mind. Let's go with Luke Skywalker. And let's throw him out into this 1970s world. And let's see if regular Joe Schmoes can connect with this character. Mm-hmm. And they did. Yes. Batman was
because it's genre defining.
Exactly.
Okay.
But Batman was previously established. He'd been around since the 50s. He was 20 years.
Yes, I know that.
Stories. It didn't have to be a good movie.
It had to be
Batman
a
No, it did. No, if you actually do research on this trilogy, they hadn't written anything more than Batman Begins. This was not a pre-planned trilogy at all. It was based on the success of each movie. They didn't even have the third one planned after The Dark Knight was written. These were made on movie to movie basis. And that's why it took so many, like 6 or 7 years between each one of them. So if you look at the tonal differences between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, Batman Begins is so much more of a comic book Batman movie, and it's dark, gritty overtones. It's like, it has like almost like a sepia filter on it for most of the time when he has his bat suit on, and it's so fucking dark. And then it's just like, boom, this is a crime mob movie, Dark Knight, and it's tonally so different. That whole
yes.
trilogy was based on the success of each predecessor.
I mean, yes, you're not wrong on that. But Cheyenne what I think Cheyenne and I are trying to convey is that Luke Skywalker was a nobody.
Okay.
That
I know that
nobody
doesn't...
knew shit about, nobody cared about.
When Batman's already here and Luke is down here as a nobody, and they had to get him to the level of success that Batman already had.
Because can you disagree with me right now with me saying the fact that Luke Skywalker is, if not as much, more revered than Luke Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker is more revered than Luke Skywalker?
Okay, Luke Skywalker's
I honestly
can't
say
as
even at
Batman.
this point. I still don't. I'd say at this point, probably Batman as a character is still more revered than Luke Skywalker.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the
But
point we're trying to make.
That doesn't have any influence on whether a movie is good or not. I'm not talking about which one launched the character or the franchise. I'm just saying.
Yes, it does, because Star
You don't
Wars
have a
had
franchise
to be
or a
better.
story without a character.
Star Wars had to be better than anything to make Luke as good as Batman.
You can, all right. I still don't understand. Okay, I still think the Star Wars trilogy is better. I'm not arguing that. I just don't understand what point you're making at all.
That Star Wars trilogy is better.
It doesn't have to be. Okay, the prequels, are they better? Are they better than the Batman trilogy?
That's not the prequel we're talking about. That's
we're
not
talking
the
about
trilogy
the
we're
OG.
talking about right now.
But I'm saying they're not good.
No.
But it didn't matter. They still were
But you have Batman and Robin and whatever the one with George Clooney was.
That's Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin, and then honestly, personally, if I'm talking personally, it's my absolute favorite. I like the one with Jim Carrey. Is that Batman Forever?
No.
I love that one. But
by the time the prequel trilogy came out, Star Wars was already here. But the OG trilogy is what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm saying no matter how, it has to be, obviously it has to be good for it to be successful. But it doesn't necessarily mean just because
it was successful, it was as good.
Yes, I agree with that also. But I also don't think the predecessors of or anything has anything to do with it, because look at all the Star Wars movies that have come after have not been regarded as anywhere near as good, correct?
Well,
so the Batman movies weren't just going to automatically be good when Batman Begins started just because Batman was an established character.
You're defeating your own argument. Because
I'm just saying that your point doesn't make sense.
No,
and
you're saying that anything previous doesn't have any current effect on what we're talking about, right?
Yes, you did. I'm saying it doesn't make it good. I'm saying that's all I'm saying.
So by that logic of what you said, the Nolan trilogy came out way after the prequel trilogy.
Yes. Well, I think Batman Begins and the Revenge of the Sith came out the same year, I think.
Regardless, the prequel trilogy was on its way being done by the time the Nolan trilogy was starting.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that the fact that the Nolan trilogy came out after, the George Clooney and the Val Kilmer Batman movies, that those movies has no effect on the new ones. When 1, 2, and 3 episodes of Star Wars, they have a huge effect on the validity of Star Wars now. They're looked at as a joke.
Okay, because they're part of the same storyline.
It doesn't matter.
All I'm saying is pre-existing characters I'm not saying that Star Wars isn't more culturally relevant or more groundbreaking, because it is. That's what you're arguing. I never said it wasn't. All I'm saying is which one is better? The movie, not cultural impact, the movies. Which one is better? And I was agreeing that I think Star Wars is. I'm just saying my argument was that I don't see what the validity of your argument was talking about cultural relevance.
Are you being dense on purpose?
I think you're circular reasoning here. Or circular argument.
It doesn't matter. We're wasting way too much time.
That's fine. I'm okay.
Right,
I'm okay with going a little over.
Chris has had nothing to say. Chris, can you explain what they're trying? Chris, explain both sides if you understand them, please. Because I just need to know from someone that hasn't said a word, or apparently hasn't been listening.
Let me just
anyway,
throw this out
which
there.
is better?
I'm okay with going over on this one because clearly this is a very sensitive topic for all of us.
For me, I like Star Wars better, but
we're literally all in agreement.
Yeah, but like Matt's just trying to say they're not comparable.
What?
He was trying to compare them in the first place.
Saying which one is better, which trilogy.
Yeah, but they're not. But you're not going to get there. Like I thought, you're trying to give them a rhetorical question that they can't answer because they're not.
No, Chris.
Okay,
no.
anyway.
I'm not that smart, Chris.
Okay.
I think we fleshed out our argument there enough. Thank you.
Again, I'm
Even though
okay
you're
with
being
going
dense.
a little bit over on this one because
How am I being dense? All I'm saying.
You are purposely not understanding what me and Jake are saying.
No, I'm not. I'm not purposefully understanding it. Look, you guys are trying to say that somehow the cultural relevance and the impact of Star Wars makes it better without the movie. Better. I'm just asking about the movie. That has no impact on this conversation. I'm saying which movie is better. If you took two movies that have no cultural impact, you could look at both of them and be like, I think this one's better. Correct? Could you do that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, then. So take the cultural relevance out. Which one is better?
Star Wars.
Yes, you can. How can you not?
Not between Star Wars and Batman.
You can't. They're too ingrained.
I'm not asking which franchise.
Society.
If I was asking you about the franchise and its existence, then yes. I'm talking about 3 movies versus 3 movies.
Star Wars. We've already covered it. What's next?
That's why we're moving the fuck on.
About this.
Because that's not an argument that I'm asking for.
Next.
That's all I was trying to say. Okay. God damn it. Pirates of the Caribbean 1 through 3.
Star Wars.
Yes.
Star Wars. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Indiana Jones 1 through 3.
Ooh, I like Indiana Jones a lot.
I still think Star Wars is better.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Obviously, they're both George Lucas, but.
Wait, was Crystal Skull 3? No,
that was 7.
No, we don't talk about.
Okay, that was 4.
We don't talk
that
about
one doesn't count. Okay,
Crystal Skull does not exist.
All right, because that one was shit.
I don't know. There's the only reason I would say Star Wars is because Indiana Jones doesn't have an overlaying arc.
Yeah.
There's no overlaying. There are 3 individual stories that you could watch 3 and just be like, oh.
That's why I think Star Wars is stronger.
Exactly.
That's my argument between Naruto and Dragon Ball Z.
That's the point that
I love both, but I think Naruto's way better.
Naruto's better. Yeah.
And that's the point I'm trying to make is that you could watch 3 and be like, oh, I get it. It's Indiana Jones. He's trying to save historical facts. He gets into crazy adventure.
Watch all. Yeah, I agree.
I'll say. Ooh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jake.
No, you're fine. No, I made my point. You're good. Go ahead.
On the point of Naruto versus Dragon Ball Z, who's the writer? Who wrote that? What's his name?
Akira Toriyama. He's the creator.
He's the creator.
I do not like. Of Naruto is who I'm talking about.
I don't know about Naruto.
Okay, whoever the guy was, I forget his fucking name. I don't like how he wrote. God damn it! I can't believe I'm forgetting what her name is right now.
Sakura.
I fucking hate how he wrote her.
Well,
how she's always clinging to Sasuke like a weak ass bitch. He literally tries to fucking kill her and she never gets over it. And then they just get married later. Like, oh, all is great.
Spoiler.
Oh my God, spoilers. I'm not that far.
Yeah, anyway, we're talking about Naruto characters.
This is the Nerdy as Hell podcast, not the Star Wars podcast. We can talk about
Apparently this is the blow your mic out in an argument podcast. Which if you've liked it, Just wait until we talk about the sequels. It's going to be probably the last 30 minutes, the entire hour and a half.
Oh my god!
I cannot fucking wait.
I'm sure people will love listening.
Get your
to that.
fucking salt and vinegar chips ready.
I hope you can edit the mic blowing out part.
How? How can I do that?
I don't know.
You need
So
to
it doesn't-
literally not scream into your mic, please.
It's hard not to when you interrupt me every 5 damn seconds.
All right. I don't really think we need to be okay.
Get his ass.
I was just gonna. We don't have time to compare the rest of these. I had Toy Story 1 through 3 on here.
Star
I
Wars.
still think
can't.
Star Wars is better, but
I can't comment.
and
'cause
I don't
haven't seen the
think
third
any of. I have never seen any. I haven't seen any of the Godfather movies. So
I've only seen the
I'm
first
gonna still
two.
say Star Wars.
Yeah, I will too, because I've seen.
okay.
No. You don't
No?
agree?
No, I think
You haven't seen all
Godfather's a
three.
better-
How can you tell me? How can you say that if you haven't seen
based
them all?
off of 1 and 2, the story and everything.
Okay, but the ending could be
thematics,
dog shit.
Look,
I
it's how
don't
they
care.
massacred my boy.
It's the story.
Your grading
And-
system is all over the dude. You move the goalposts more than anyone I've ever seen, man.
Yes, I move my goalposts based off of genre. It's
Oh.
do you understand how hard it is to relate something like Star Wars to fucking The Godfather?
No.
Do you
Just asking
understand?
which one's better.
That's when the fucking goalpost is at the 45-yard line for Star Wars,
But that's
And
what
you're
makes it
kicking from
interesting.
and you're kicking from the
Anyway,
10.
all right, guys. Does the original trilogy of Star Wars still hold up?
Yes.
Of course it does.
Okay.
It's timeless.
Absolutely.
There's
Even
no argument
with-
there.
Even with the Lucasisms, as I call them,
Yes.
Ugh.
things that he's added in the. Do you guys? All right. Is it better today than it was when it originally released?
No.
No.
It's worse
I
today than it
100%
came
agree.
out.
It is way worse.
All the
You know what I
extra
hate? I
CG
skip.
bullshit.
Yes, where he re-CG'd in shit and all the really cool shots and all this stuff. Added a fucking singing thing
The
to
fact that it
Jabba's
was
palace that's like 5 minutes long and it's fucking awful.
the fact that it was fucking practical props.
Mhm.
That's what makes the Mandalorian so goddamn cool. Is that Baby Yoda
100%.
or Grogu?
I love
is
Lord of the Rings for that.
goddamn-
That's why I hate the Hobbit.
He's goddamn practical. He's a real, like, physical thing that the actor of the Mando is working with. It's real.
Agreed.
I mean, what they use fucking coins tapping on electric poles to make sounds. Shit like that is cool. It doesn't happen anymore.
It's just like he
At
took
least
what
JJ
was
tried. At least JJ tried.
he took
JJ
what was
tried.
special about it, and then it's like he didn't even acknowledge it. He's like, I can enhance it even more with the
Yes, but
with
it's
the power of fucking CGI and stupid ass extra shit.
singing aliens and that look like fat little sluts in their fucking outfits. They're disgusting, man.
And
I
it's
Ugh.
hate
just
that
it's like,
so much. And then like
who
he
wanted
ruins
that?
every shot with something. He has to throw just a bunch of shit on the screen all
Yeah,
the time.
like-
they're walking
like-
through Mos Eisley in the first movie, and there's fucking dinosaurs walking all over the fucking place, and there's fucking shit on the ground, and they're
Like-
trying to walk. Them like, why?
I remember watching this one documentary about, when they were filming it originally and practically. Sorry, I've got a upset kiddo.
It's all right. We
when
got a
they were
minute or two
filming-
left. It's all good.
When they were filming it practically, they the speeder, the land speeder, it had wheels.
Yeah.
It had wheels. It had to have wheels. There's no way it could go around that. And they were driving through the sand in the desert, and they blurred it out with like this orange kind of haze. And they said that's just the land speeder and how it works. Cool. That's how it fucking works. And then they cleared it up in the Lucasisms, the remixes, and all that shit. And I was like, I don't care about that. It was the story and how it was practically done. I don't need you to explain to me that, oh, we cleaned this up because we couldn't clean it
Yeah,
up back.
that I'm a little less annoyed with than just like the shots where it's just like the sunset at Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi, where you just see that really nice shot, and then there's a fucking thing sitting there jumping across the screen like, "Meh, meh, meh," and then a fucking like frog thing just grabs him and fucking eats him in the middle. It was like,
Yep.
why? Why?
Why did
Why
I
couldn't
need
it just been a
that?
nice fucking shot?
Why was that important to the story?
It's
It's a nice fucking
it's
shot.
bullshit.
It's true.
He's terrible. I'm sorry, George. You were a genius.
No,
You
you're
had
not.
great ideas. Stop.
Yeah,
It's
and then
time to stop.
he
It's
added in
time
whole
to
deleted.
stop.
He went and fucking changed who shot first.
Oh my god.
He
And
literally
it's,
changed it.
have you
That was the
seen
whole.
wait. Have you seen that scene where in A New Hope where Han Solo is talking to fucking Jabba the Hutt
Yes,
and they
that's
literally
new
like
too.
cut and paste him stepping over Jabba's
His
tail?
tail. Yes,
It
yes.
was so bad.
Yes. Yep, that was a deleted
Ugh.
scene that they added later with the re-release.
I didn't see
They
that.
CG Jabba in.
Watch it. It is so bad and so blatantly obvious that you're insulted as a viewer. You're just like,
Yeah.
So on Disney Plus, that's the version I have to watch.
yes.
Yes.
You see his mouth like stay right here, and then his whole body goes up here, and you're like, whoa, it's like a bad glitch in a video game.
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
That
And
and
then
then the whole
and
thing
then-
that like the Greedo thing is like a character development thing that he ruined.
Yeah, you
So
see,
like, you know,
that's what
Han used to be a piece of shit and he just shot Greedo before, you know, or whatever. And then they literally changed it to where Greedo fucking shot at him first.
Well, this is what it looks like. Han's like sitting here, right here, and then 2 seconds later, he's like, it's like such a
It's a jump cut.
like a jarring. Like, let me just slide him over.
Yeah,
here
if you look
real
at the
quick,
old,
nobody will know.
whenever they would whip a lightsaber out, it used to be a jump cut like that too, kind
Yeah,
of. But it wasn't as bad.
And that was believable. But the whole like, oh, he tuned into the Force and just slid over. Fuck off with that garbage.
Someone said that?
I've heard people say that. Yeah.
Oh no. I don't ever want to
That's-
hear that ever again. I don't ever want to hear that ever again. I don't want to hear it ever again. Oh my
He
god.
looks at the Force. He's
All right.
in tune with the Force.
We're coming
I'm
back
like-
around.
Fuck off.
All right, we're coming back around now.
That's not good. That's just not good.
Is the original Star Wars trilogy perfect?
The
Obviously, the
OG
Lucasisms don't
before-
actually do anything to the story.
Okay. Before the Lucasisms, yes. I think it's a
But
great.
I'm just saying, the story wise, the way it wraps up and all the story beats and all that stuff, is it perfect?
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
It
Chris?
has a great beginning, middle, and end.
I don't know. Yeah,
Is there anything you would change? Because if there's one thing you can think of, then you would have to say that it's not perfect.
I would say it's close. It's as close to perfect as Lucas is capable of.
I was going to say it's as close to perfect as you can get in movies.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no perfect movie. There's always something, but you know, I would say it's as close as you can get. Would we
agree.
at least agree on that?
Absolutely.
I'm so glad they didn't have CGI when they made it originally. Other
because it would have been the prequels. Oh no, everybody glitched again. God damn it. All right, well, I'm gonna have to edit that part out. That was really glitchy for me. Sorry. What did you say, Chris?
okay, I'll say it again. I'm glad that when they originally filmed it, that they didn't have the CGI and effects and shit that they do now. So the Lucasisms wouldn't have been integral to the story the original way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I imagine he would have gone well overboard. Instead of like he would have incorporated that into the thing. It'd be integral. Whereas it can only be extra fucking like in this shot where there was nothing and it was an empty desert and a sunset. Now we're gonna have fucking bullshit. It would have been like unavoidable.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Jar Jar. That's the whole reason. He
Oh god.
Exactly.
All right. And on that note, we're gonna go ahead and end it. We'll be back next week with our sequel talk now. That one is gonna be just a giant argument.
We might have to go over our limit on that one.
Yeah, that one we might have to extend, but
'Cause I
whatever.
feel
I have so much to
haven't
bitch about.
I feel like. we
Oh
haven't
yeah.
thought everything about this one,
I like.
But hey, Cheyenne loved him because it said Star Wars on it. So.
and it had Chewie in it. And all
Oh
games.
yeah, it did. It totally did.
My favorite was Bubba Freak.
Oh,
No, thank you.
I liked episode 7.
Whoa!
all right. On that note, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week with our sequel trilogy podcast. If you like this one, please rate and subscribe on any podcast platform. You can't
And
rate on
and-
Spotify, just so you know. I tried to look and you can't do it. It's weird. But yeah, recommend it to someone that loves Star Wars and wants to hear us bitch about the sequel trilogy next week.
That way they can rage and comment on all of our
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yes.
Next week's gonna be a
I
fun one.
Yeah.
want it. I need it to live.
And go follow the Nerdy as Hell Pod on Twitter and Nerdy as Hell Gaming on YouTube for the video version. And we'll try to get all these recording issues out of the way by the next episode. So just stick with us. What, Jake?
Live long.
That's
y'all.
Stay
All right.
unapologetically nerdy. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. That was the thing.